Good morning. It's Saniel, and this is The Sun in Your Heart is Rising, and what we together can be and do for the whole world. Today I'm going to read from the introduction. Introduction: Helping your sun rise just by being here. The sun in your heart is rising. I've been engaged in spiritual teaching for more than 20 years. Helping many people awaken to deeper truths of who they are. This book's title summarizes in a single sentence what I recognize more and more clearly that I am here to say and also to serve. What is the sun in your heart? We'll explore what that phrase means as we go along, all through this book. It is both the source of life in your body and the primordial feeling of simply being that abides at the seat of your soul, your most innate feeling sense of being me. When people speak of God in our hearts, this radiant source power of sentient life is what they intuitively feel. It is every bit as biological as it is spiritual. I'm not merely voicing ideas, things for you to believe or not. In a variety of ways, yet mostly just by being here, I am helping that sun in your heart to rise. That is, to come alive and awake in you, as you, to shine ever more strongly, so that over time its increasingly conscious brightness rewires your whole sense of who and what you are. More than that, so that it reconfigures your awareness of who and what you are becoming, and just what contributions you yourself are here to make, even if only and simply just by being who you are. How that help I provide works for you is not easy to describe. It includes a whole cluster of paradoxes. One of them is that I said I offer this help just by being here myself, and that is true. Being here, however, doesn't only refer to my physical, bodily life on earth. This manner of being here won't fundamentally change when I die. When this body-mind person, Saniel the man, ceases to live in this earthly world. So what I mean by being here is multidimensional. It can't be defined as a material bodily person's appearance and continuation in the physical world. Another paradox has to do with what my help entails. It certainly takes many forms that require me to do things. Writing, publishing, speaking, videoing this book is a good example. Yet all my doing really only helps draw your attention to what I'm accomplishing with and for you just by being. By being, if you will, with a capital B. And a little parenthesis here. I'll avoid capitalizing words whenever possible, though sometimes that kind of visual cue helps readers. For audio or video listeners, I'll say capital B, or whatever the letter is as needed, again as infrequently as possible. So, a second paradox is that, in general, the more I am personally able to relax from having to do all kinds of outward, obvious things, the more it's likely that you will be able to perceive what I'm contributing to you and to the world simply by being. Yet I've got plenty I want and need to do, too. And a huge piece, I am far from anything like a quote-unquote perfect being. I've got all kinds of flaws, faults, and foibles, like every other living human being. As a pertinent and still current example, I've been dogged by anger management issues most of my adult life. I've had a tendency to erupt in volcanic, sudden outbursts. These issues came to the fore recently, even as I write and speak this book that makes some sublime statements about who I am and what I do. One of the things I'm also continuing to do is deep, extended therapy around this matter in particular and others related to it. The therapy has already helped me get much more to the root of these eruptions and learn how to work with that anger, that kind of anger, as it rears up in me. That practice empowers me to take much more complete responsibility for how I show up, no matter what triggers me to anger or how triggered I may feel under any circumstances. In many traditional contexts, such an admission simply disqualifies the admitter from being taken seriously as a spiritual adept or teacher. Please note, I'm not inviting you to a traditional spiritual context. But if what I just admitted is a deal breaker for you, well, hopefully you haven't already bought this book, which is certainly the case as I'm reading from the manuscript here to you in this video context, which is I'm happy to make available. Even so, if you are otherwise finding yourself attracted to take in what I have to say, or at least curious about it, then I invite you to bear with me for the duration. When I suggest that the sun in your heart is rising, I'm saying it's doing that regardless of your flaws, your faults, your foibles too. No matter how sublime the radiance of the heart becomes in and as and through any and all of us, we're still here, with clay feet, smelly entrails, sweat and blood and tears, issues galore, and all kinds of things we don't yet really get about ourselves and one another. I'm quite moved, I'm moved to write this book in the form of 108 passages. Some are very short, others quite long. 108 is an ancient sacred number in India, where I find many of my deepest spiritual roots. I was never much of a numbers mystic, and I'm not now. It can get a bit tacky, you know? But over recent years, every time I use that number, 108, I feel I'm ringing a bell that triggers blessings to flow our way from multiple presences, human and non-human, throughout that mysterious homeland of so much of human spirituality, all the way up the Ganges River into the Himalayas. It's as if a gong sounds in the caves of secret adepts, hidden among the world's highest snows and crags there. That primal sound automatically elicits their most sublime support for those of us out here in the trenches of everyday society, working to somehow help that sun in every human heart rise and never set again. An important point. I wouldn't dream of asking you to believe anything I say, including what I just wrote in that last paragraph. To make the best use of this book, you'll need your doubt and skepticism, your crap detector, even your cynicism on full alert. When it comes to the kind of transformation I'm inviting you to, belief is bankrupt. Taking ideas, notions, or propositions on so-called faith doesn't get close to serving the awakening of the kind of fidelity to reality that we're going to explore here. So, roll your eyes, snort, shout no way, laugh or dismiss, or in any other way you're moved to, question and actively disbelieve what I'm writing here, to your heart's content. Giving plenty of room for your doubt and skepticism is one of the most effective things you can do with your mind, along with simply paying attention, to help the sun in your heart rise so obviously to you that you'll never doubt it again. Then you'll also never doubt who you yourself most fundamentally are, ever again. And you'll live and know the meaning of an ultimate kind of faith in the mystery of being. You'll also still have plenty of opportunities from time to time to doubt or at least wonder about who or what you are becoming as your sun essence shines more brightly. But that's another matter. We'll get to it in due course.